Okay, hi there everyone. My name is Brandon, and this is going to be my first YouTube video that I post. It's the second time I'm recording because apparently when you haven't posted a YouTube video ever, which I haven't, you can only make it like 15 minutes because then you're not a verified account. It could be like a spam account or something like that. So I was it's not as natural as the first time, but this is going to be my video nonetheless. So this is what type of progress I have so far. I'm trying to make a grapple hook system for a game I'm trying to make. Of course, I've just started in game development and coding as a whole. I'm just a normal guy working a full-time job here who likes playing video games, and so anyone who likes playing video games at some points gets to this point where they want to make a video game, and it's usually way too big, but hey, it's being ambitious, right? So this is my progress so far. Oh yeah, it's um, in the mode here. That's fine. So my progress so far, I'm trying to make a game that would be something inspired off of Worlds Adrift or Worlds Adrift plus Genshin Impact or something like that. A big open world, big islands to explore and whatnot. And so yeah. So right now I'm trying to make a grapple hook system as my first like project, which is a little hard. We should have started with something a little bit easier. Uh, the grapple hook is supposed to have three mechanics. Just imagine like Worlds Adrift, essentially, right? And that's literally the kind of grapple system I'd love to have and love to recreate or something like that um, in my own way. But yeah, I'm trying to have three mechanics, essentially. One where you could uh, just normally swing from a rope here, which is kind of what you see happening. Another one would be when you can kind of climb the rope, which shrinks your distance between your end point and your start point. And then the last one, which is unfortunately like really broken here, is essentially hitting control, and that would be what um, increases the length or increases the distance between your start point and end point, or thus creating the illusion of like increasing your rope. And then both of those essentially also help influence your swing mechanics. And then lastly, I do have like a quick like jump mechanic too, that just like when you let go and you're jumping, it kind of launches you in the air a little bit. That's just to help with that final animation. But so many problems already. And essentially, this video is just me asking for help, essentially. And the best way that I can provide you context is by, of course, explaining what's going on here, right? So let's get started with that. Um, I remember in my first recording, actually, even though it was much longer, I actually forgot to mention my release, what happens, but I'll kind of restart and be a little bit faster this time. So, but I will start with the release side. So I'm starting with the left mouse button, and well, I have to give you some context first. Um, what I'm doing is, first thing I'm doing is I'm creating the line trace, which is going to show me, based off the range I'm giving it, how far, if I'm actually going to end up hitting an item, and if or hitting like an object, right, a wall or something like that, platform, and if I hit that, I'm going to gather some of that information and then spawn a cable component to my mesh, and then with that, based off some of the videos I've been watching, you end up calculating the length of the rope and using that as a variable, and then from that point forward, you can move on and mess around. Geez, I'm not trying to do that. Mess around with some functions that you kind of create here. Um, Long story short, I'm definitely still extremely new at this, trying to learn as I go. But I think this is the best way to kind of put in some practice. And my goal is to see if anyone who has the same level of experience, or of course, definitely more experience than myself, has the ability to just provide some feedback, provide some comments, or we can get into some conversations too regarding how to help me out here or see what I can do. And so yeah, so that's what I just said. When I'm pressing it, I'm doing a trace, getting that information, creating the cable between those 2 points, and then doing some stuff. When I release it, of course, you would um, do the reverse if you can. And the main thing is just destroying the component. There's definitely a lot of different ways to do that. Um, but yeah, and then I wanted to do here, like I have my own little like just playlist for game dev, but I wanted to show this just because last time I was referencing the videos I'm taking inspiration from verbally, but some type of visuals is nice, especially if you're recording a video. So I got a couple like references from this grappling hook video from Crystal Clear Game Studios. The Peter L. Newton was another one. I tried to recreate it too in my own file, and I just couldn't get it done. But it's a really old one that I think a lot of people kind of tried to base some inspiration off of for Attack on Titan. This video from Lewis Five Ford, which is making like a Spider-Man. He's trying to recreate or do his own version of like the actual Spider-Man games, like on console, which is obviously the coolest thing ever, right? Like the real Spider-Man physics. And so his video, although it was like some, like it's like a let's make kind of series there, but I couldn't get all of the information from just the video, and he does provide the files to download to check it out yourself, but I don't have a U-turn or anything like that, and I'm honestly just was hoping just to get all the information from YouTube. Trying to get some information from teleporting videos. Kodak Games too has, I think it was his that has pretty interesting game concepts too, where you're trying to work with like enumerations and then getting like pull mechanics or pulling your character or pulling an object towards you. What was the last video here? This is the video, one of the main videos I took a lot of my inspiration from and tried to really understand. Watch this video like dozens of times now, but it's a little bit fast. I mean, someone commented that too, and he addressed it, and so even he knows. But it's a really good video. It's hard to get all the information from it. And this guy is trying to literally recreate Worlds Adrift. I'm pretty sure Bandana. So I'm not big on like joining random like communities and whatnot that I'm not like familiar with, but I tried to jump in his Discord to see if he was going to explain how to do the grappling hook, but I don't think he does. He just kind of like shows it off, showcases it. So unfortunately not the most helpful, and he never messaged me back regarding my comment yet or anything. So we'll just see. But those are the videos I'm taking inspiration from and trying to do my own things and figure it out. So let's go through the main thing, which is the left mouse pressed. So again, I'm going to show you this, even though I know like a lot of these things are wrong, but it's again just to provide you context to maybe see if anyone is willing to kind of help me out or whatnot. Because even fundamentally, when I'm dealing with macros and functions, like I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing, and I don't know if my jargon's fully right either. So bear with me here as I go through this. First thing we're doing is line traces, right? So you're taking two things essentially. You're getting where you're facing and where you are in the world, and I'm providing it with a distance, so a literal like line point that's 5,000 units long, and that's my world location is going to be a start, and where the end of those 5,000 units is going to be the end. I'll try and keep like one still frame too, so anyone who's trying to gain some type of inspiration can quickly like screenshot that. I'm referencing the cable component. I'm pretty sure you can use literally whatever you want, like literally the camera, even though you're doing like player manager camera stuff. But you take that information, I made it into, I believe a macro or function, I don't know, and then I make it to define the grapple location. So with those 2 points, if you take the line trace by channel, that was something I spent so long trying to figure out because I was taking one by objects and things weren't working for me. I was super frustrated, but line trace by channel, you take the return value to give yourself the condition, like on hit, right? If I hit something true or false, and what do you can break the out hit to give you a result to get you multiple things you can mess around with. And so if I didn't hit anything, I set a Boolean here, conditional to be, I didn't hit anything. And if I did, I'm taking the location, setting that as a variable that I can reference later on and mentioning that I did hit something. And that reminds me, on top of my main graph here, which has still like scraps of things I'm trying to work on, just for context, I didn't even, like these nodes like come into the game, right? They come in with the Unreal Engine, it's already done for you, but I haven't even programmed any crouch mechanics. It's just, since these are there, it helped me, because I wanted to use the left control, I set Booleans here to then reference them later. Same thing with sprint. I mean, I made the sprint, but it's probably one of the easy first things you do when you're trying to game dev here. So pressed 900, release 500 speed, give yourself Booleans. I did an ADS thing because when I was trying to work with the web for the first time, I was having a hard time just trying to see what's going on. So ADS, which is slightly to the left and slightly up, or I guess it's same height, but slightly to the right at the very least, and it zooms in, and so that was pretty cool. and then the UI widget for the plus there. So those are all other things only other things I think I messed with. So from this point, that's where I said I have two booleans if I hit something or not, and those are referenced as variables. And then if I hit something, which again I'm taking from the beginning, again trying to remember every little detail for a shorter video. Here's the semi-still shot. So did I hit something? That's the condition. If it's true, I'll add a component. I know there's different ways to do it, but I chose to go with this one. I was messing around with collision to see if that jump animation was bugged or not. So, I mean, you can kind of disregard this and carry them on. But adding the component, I'm setting that as a reference for later. And then I'm taking the hit actor location. And like already that was also a pretty confusing point because you have in the cable, you have an attach start and a point and an attach end point, but I'm pretty sure you have to, like you can't mess around with the attach start point. You can only configure the end point, which I believe is contributing to like some of my bugs. Like as you can see, the reason why it's springing like that to left to right is because it's actually initiating at the world location of 000 and then going to the point. So yeah, that's just interesting. And looking at the time here, so 11 and a half, we'll speed this up a little bit. But yeah, so essentially because that's weird with the cable components, the end location is actually on my person in the socket I put on the right hand called Grapple start. And then the end location is where the start location, sorry, is where my end trace location is, right? So I'm taking that information, spawning it, and then I'm calculating the rope length. So getting the actor location and the hit actor location, that's becoming a vector length. This is a distance. I'm taking that video from Wisco UI SEO, where he's creating a new cable length that's based off this. I don't know if that's working for me. And essentially, he created a new reference variable there saying like, am I attached for a condition? So that's kind of everything you needed to do in the beginning, and then you can kind of mess around with the functions. When it comes to like motion and vectors and things like that, apparently you're supposed to work with event ticks. That's what I'm getting from a lot of these videos. And first time working with enumerations too, but feels pretty good where I'm starting to understand it, which is it's just you're just naming things. It's just a way to classify information. So if I'm naming something just chilling, and then I can reference this later and provide a set of instructions that are associated with just chilling. That's one way to do it. So I have just chilling, sprinting while grappled, crouching while grappled, move while grappled, and jumping off while grappled. All these are just referencing combinations of keys to do and then do the function that I'm trying to work on. So just chilling, as you can imagine, is doing nothing. Sprinting while grappled, that's like left click is when I grapple, right? But then sprinting is left shift. Crouching is like left control. And then so these do a series of things with my functions. I have the state here and then which one I'm picking to do what. So when I'm trying to climb is again shortening the distance. I don't, either way you can kind of see what's going on, but I don't think this is actually like working for me. I have the condition again repeated here, which also prints on the screen so I know what I'm doing. And the goal would be to then, when I'm climbing, to shrink the distance so I kind of go up while still holding the grapple. When I'm like crouching while grappled is essentially the slide down mechanic on the grapple hook, so increasing the distance or like lengthening the cable. So getting actor, doing the minus to get the vector length, and I was trying to do, since I know it's like ticks, right, which happen multiple times per second if you think about it like that, or like it's like once per frame or whatnot. I tried to do this value super small, so it'd be like this is a small value that's added per tick to increase the length, and since there's so many ticks, it would increase that at a pretty good speed, and then it does that, but that clearly isn't working too well. And then the last one was calculating the force, which is just to add force while you're moving around, right? Getting the cable length, setting it stagnant with air control, and using this force equation to with the -2, which you can make -10 to make it see it better, but yeah, to make that value. Coming up on 15 minutes, unfortunately, but essentially that's everything I have here, and I'm hoping that anyone who watches this video can help me out. So feel free to leave a comment. Thanks so much, and have a good one. Bye now.